Good afternoon, everybody. This is V, and today we are, of course, in my bathroom. Ignore my camera. My daughter dropped it in the toilet, and it probably needs to be stuck in some rice. But it's still working. It's just the camera's a little fuzzy, so whatever. This is just a box. Something came in it. Who knows? Probably food. But this right here that you're seeing, this bag, is not a trash bag. This is actually a Walmart bag that a shipment of potting soil came in. And I'm going to use this to empty out my worm bins of all the flowers. Or all the plants. Because it's time to harvest worm castings. As I'll show you in a minute, the worm castings are so thick that they're like clay. So we need to get those out of there. I need to get the plants somewhere else. And what I've done is I've cut up 2 of these giant bags that the potting soil came in, and I taped them down here. I cut a hole down here. Actually, it already had a hole in it. I just cut a hole in the bag and pulled it through. And I taped it on either side so it can still have great drainage. And this will only last for 1 season, but I really just need it to rescue my plants and change out the worm castings, which is very important in what I do. I vermicompost in containers in my house. So, yes, it can be done. There's plenty of videos about vermicomposting and worm farming in your garden, your outside raised beds, what have you. And there's plenty of videos about vermicomposting in containers and bins and everything. But I have yet to find any videos about vermicompost gardening in containers. So I pretty much trial and errored it for the last, since 2018. But that's another story for another series, which I will be starting very soon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put just my plain potting mix that I have. I use Expert Gardeners into this container after I put like 2 gallons of boiling hot water over it and make sure that there's no fungus gnat or earwig larvae in it. Now, I've never had that problem with Expert Gardener. However, I am also mixing some of the potting soil I already had, and there have been fungus gnats in my bathroom, so I'm fairly certain they probably laid eggs in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sift through this soil here that I've been working on for planting and put that just in the bottom of this bin. And that's after I put the boiling water on it. So let me go boil some water. I'll be right back. So y'all didn't realize that I've been off for an hour. I had to charge you. My phone, at least. So what I'm doing now is I've got 2 bags of potting soil, and I've put 2 pots of boiling hot water over this, because I found a bag of potting soil that I'd been using outside, and it's been raining so much that it was wet, and there was a slew of, like, an army of mating fungus gnats running up the side into the bag. So, yeah, they're now done. But we won't go into that. What I've done here is I have mixed this potting soil, which is my Expert Gardener potting soil. This is just my Espoma brand organic garden tone, and I think it's a 433. And I put 2 cups of that in there. And it's finally cooled down enough where I can mix it by hand. It's nice and light and fluffy. I had to dig down all the way to the bottom. And what I'm going to do with this is I am literally going to put this into grow bags, and I'm going to siphon my plants into those that are in my vermicompost bins right now, because the worm bins are too full of, shall we say, excrement, and it seems to be stunting the growth of my plants. Okay, so I cannot find my bag of vermiculite, but I put 16 ounces of my perlite in there, and there was vermiculite in the bottom of this with the mix, so I think we'll be all right. I'm just going to mix it up real good. The plants I'm putting in this box are already established, so I'm not starting seeds with this. I'm literally putting already established plants in here. Whoops! I apparently had a cup. Yeah. I apparently had a cup in there. That would be my Maggie. I'm now going to put it into the box with the cup I just dug out. So this is the first box. This is one of the onion experiments I did when I split them in half. 2 little marigolds. A Brussels sprout. Now that's one part of the Brussels sprout experiment. I left it whole. It does not have any roots, but as you can see, it's doing just fine. And it's nice and crisp. I just ate 2 of the leaves, so I have no idea. This is a viney thing, a volunteer viney thing. I have no idea, but I guess we'll figure it out in a little bit. Okay, so that's one box planted, and now I've got still a bunch more to go. Two marigolds in here. Ivies. A cabbage. That's one of my purple cabbage that I cut and grew, and it's doing magnificently. I am just going to place these. That's one of the black zucchini. That's Jimmy Pickles pepper seed from Matt over at Operation Capsation. This is another, that's actually a piece of a purple cabbage right there. And then I have the 2 ivies that I have to all replant so that I can harvest the worm castings out of all these buckets and separate the worms. Alright, so I have filled this. This is an 8-gallon grow bag, and this might be a 10-gallon, I'm not sure. And I have gently scooped out the purple cabbage that I did for Miss Sarah at the Big Blue House Homestead. And it's got lovely, well-established roots. It also has quite a bit of worms. So that's an added bonus. There's some that are escaping. Don't ask. That's my dog. He's retarded. And so I'm not really sure why this part over here is not growing, but this part's growing really nicely. So I'm calling that a win. I'm calling that success. And hopefully I put it in this here grow bag and put it outside, and it continues to flourish. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my little cabbage in the grow bag into this milk crate, and I just like to use these because it gives it more stability, because I move them a lot and I don't want to continue unearthing and unsettling the soil. because it's all set up, and now we're going to put it into here. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do, you see these have nice big drainage holes. I'm going to plant this next to the cabbage because, like I said, this has worms in it and I'm going to have to feed them. And that also adds nutrients to my cabbage. So I'm just going to plant that right in there, nice and deep, so that when I water, it will be getting those nutrients right down to the roots of the cabbage. And I won't have to worry about whether or not my cabbage is being watered. And I also won't have to worry about the nutrients for the worms. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is plant one of these smaller marigolds. This is just a water container, and it's got good drainage. So I'm going to fill this pretty much to about here. These are full-size marigolds, but this is a 1 gallon container, so it should be fine. I'm sure my buddy Gear will let me know if it's not. Alright, so I poked a little hole in there. I did take off the condalia leaves, the baby leaves at the bottom, and I planted this. And the soil is very moist at the bottom, so I am not watering this because it's really quite moist all by itself. Alright, so I've gotten everything out of the 2 largest bins. And the next video you're going to be seeing is me siphoning through those. And actually the next video you will see is me setting up the new worm bins in 5 gallon buckets. And then you'll be seeing me do a video on sorting the worms and separating them from the worm castings and how to use your worm castings. So y'all have a great night. I've literally been working for 6 hours and have a little over 12 minutes of recorded work because a lot of it I could not do holding the camera or the phone and, doing the work because it required 2 hands. So I really hope that this helps somebody. Not really that many tips, but I had a lot of fun, and it was very relaxing to me, and so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.